Hey everybody, Shane here, daily-astrocat.com, and today is Tuesday the 28th of April. And so here we go, we got astrology for you, right? Okay, astrology my way, the Astrocat way. Oh, you wouldn't know that from the people from Meta, though, would you? Anyway, look, the moon's going to enter Libra at 5:03 in the morning here on the East Coast. And with everything I went on about yesterday, I bet many of you didn't know the moon was void of course, but you could feel it, right? The moon in Libra means that we let's get some agreements hammered out, okay? Let's get some stuff taken care of, okay? We've got a nice diplomatic moon here to kind of like inspire us to move a little bit forward. All right, I made the mistake of checking my email at stella@daily-astrocat.com, and let me tell you, I had so many missed notices, copyright violations, and logo infringements. Oh, do tell. Oh, Meta. Oh, no. Supposedly the last advertisement I put through was, it only had my face and daily-astrocat.com, but, hey, what do you know? Or actually, I think it was a picture of Sirius even. So anyway, somebody has a copyright on my cat. I don't know. Anyway, it's all bullshit, by the way. I design all of this. And, my thumbnails and stuff like that are actually paid thumbnails that I do through Canva, right? I pay for those assets there that I get to use because that's part of the licensing agreement. They're not used for anything, and I'm not claiming that they're my own work. I just use them to decorate things with, right? It's like having clip art or something. So, look, and I also write all my own material. The face, it's mine. There's nothing plastic there, right? So I can't see how they could be claiming that I'm somebody who that I'm not. I have no idea. So, look, here's another thing, though. I've also stopped listening to other astrologers. I listened to them for a while last year, and, they were good. Some of them are good. There's some that I really like, particularly on YouTube and stuff like that. They have massive audiences, which is just crazy because they're nowhere near as entertaining, for the lack of a better word. A lot of information, a lot of stuff, but there's not that much entertainment value to it as far as what it is that we do here, right? We do a little bit of entertaining and a little bit of other stuff. And they also started getting a little bit woo. And I mean, by woo, I mean just like really weird about Saturn and Neptune entering into Aries and just, where we're at and stuff like right now, talking about, thinning veils and stuff like that, which we've talked about. We've put on it, but I didn't say that we would be transforming into beings of light and stuff like that. I did say to make sure we're drinking water to take care of our inner crystalline structure. That's for sure. But that came through hard experience rather than just, some vague notion. But then again, maybe they're all vague notions. A little bit of channeling going on there, perhaps, right? It's just the way that we do these things. Particularly as an intuitive astrologer, you're looking at the things, and I look at the various planets and charts and everything, but then there's combinations and groupings that really talk to me and try to that reach out and grab me, and then I just start writing about them in such a way that it just feels channeled, but it's not, if you know what I mean. You can correct me if I'm wrong. All right, do it in the comments. I love comments. So look, now I think some of that woo stuff runs the risk of getting exposed. You can only go so far on the woo scale. Now, particularly since we live so close to Worcester here, right? Woo, the woo sucks. Worcester, Wormtown. Anyway, Worcester, Massachusetts. You abbreviate it, that's Wormtown. Okay, so if yesterday provided us with the details with that Virgo moon that we had, today's going to give us a chance to set a course for where we may think the planets in Gemini, that would be Uranus and Venus, would be interested in taking us. Now, why Gemini? Why this, right? Well, that moon just entering Libra is going to make a water trine right at the 4 to 5 degree mark, right? Grand water trine with, not water, air. Grand air trine with Pluto and with Venus and with Uranus, because Uranus has just entered into that area as well. So now this is kind of like a shifting headwind kind of thing. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But if we think about it, what we're really looking at here is that today's going to be a great day for some new ideas, because we're just getting that fresh breeze, that wind. There's new ways to communicate, and there's different paths that we can take, and there's different tools that are going to be at our disposal once everything settles down, right? All this craziness that's going on around us, just kind of like the dust settles, and then it's like, okay, we're here to do some work. All right, so this is kind of like one of these things that we're doing now. Let's see. It's almost like the ship is coming around, and we are plotting a new and more balanced course. That's really what it amounts to. We can feel those winds starting to change, because remember, before we had the outer planets that were in earth and water signs, and now they've all shifted to fire and air signs. So it's totally different. That's what they call a sea change, right? So now that wind is taking us right around there. And today's keyword is developing, because this is what we're working on. The color is an assortment of white spring wildflowers, kind of like where I was walking today. I went back to Garden in the Woods, which is not too far from here, if you look it up or anything like that. It's the Native Plant Trust is what it's called. It used to be called something, they used to call it Garden in the Woods, but now it's Native Plant Trust, and it's part of the Massachusetts Horticultural Society, and it's affiliated with the horticultural societies all across the country, so it's kind of interesting. You belong there, you get a membership, and you can go anywhere you want. Botanical gardens all over the place, galore. Closest one to us here is Tower Hill out in West Boylston, which is near the aforementioned Worcester. So, what do we got? So, Venus trines Pluto today. Now, this is part of that Grand Air Trine. Now, the things we're seeing both on the news and social media, AI nonsense is all over the place. Social media is just crazy. What's real and what's an illusion? What's really going on? We don't really know. It's a full-on spectacle on display, and of course, that's going to bring out the worst behavior in many folks. I was listening to something today, and it was like. It was like a podcast or something, or like a video, and they were talking about this guy, and I don't remember his name, but there's not a point to it, because I looked it up to see, what is this person, right? He's an influencer. Now, I've never seen that as, a journalist, yes, a presenter, a MC, an anchor person, anything, right? An influencer. Oh my goodness, having some say, and what the I believe was an article about. It was an article about the changing morals of society, and how stealing from the rich is good. Shoplifting items. It was kind of silly, right? Because stealing is stealing. It doesn't matter what you call it, right? It's just not something that you really want to be engaged in, particularly from a higher vibrational level. Don't sully your vibration to be in style, okay? You want to just be sure that we're doing the right thing. Now, the full-on spectacle, yeah, that's right. Worst behavior, absolutely. Other platforms are rolling out some pretty tepid content, like the one I just told you with the influencer. There was another one that just didn't have sound quality that I watched today, because I do like historical and archaeological information. Sometimes I'll listen to that. But there was a big name one that sounded like they recorded it using a soup can. And I'm just like, wow. Now, this air trine that we have is going to be fast, because the moon is actually making it. The trine between Uranus and Pluto, that's going to be more enduring, and it's not going to quite catch exactly yet, but Venus is there. So Venus is already trine with Pluto, and Venus will draw Uranus into that. So we're already getting warmed up for that, right? Some changes in communication, changes in how we're dealing with things. Maybe we'll see changes in the fourth estate, the media, right? Maybe we'll see some changes there. Maybe we'll see some more grassroots things, because Pluto is that dissolving, right? It's returning power to the people. Maybe we'll see some more populist driven things that's going to be somehow outside of the reach of the oligarchs and the technocrats that are trying to hold all this stuff, right? They consolidate all this power. So, well, so other platforms, maybe we'll roll out a platform, right? Who knows? Do it. I'll join it. Just let me know. Now, winds are shifting. They're changing direction. The moon in Libra, that's a deal maker, right? And we're looking to balance the hot mess that everything is threatening to become. That's certainly a tall order. And before the Aquarian aloofness that I frequently alluded to, remember that? It's been for months now, right? That was a holdover from that solar eclipse that occurred back in March. But now we're getting more of that airy aloofness, that airy, that abstract thinking, that ideals that we're be able to steer us, right? The winds are taking us there. Now, Venus and Uranus and the moon are making it so that we can see where the wind is shifting. There are 2 points that are going to be very important. One is going to be in the Virgo season coming up, and another is going to occur in the Scorpio season. Because keep those things in mind, because we're going to be revisiting these points often, especially when the moon's starting to do her transits, and then when the sun starts to head over in that direction, we'll notice it again. So please take mental note of this. And look, if you're offered help today, accept it. The moon opposes Saturn tonight, and that will be telling us something. Well, what's it going to tell us? That, look, the energy of the grand air trine is an indication of direction, but the planets in the cardinal signs, which is where Saturn is, will determine the actual tract, because that's the resistance, right? That's the currents. That's what, if you picture a ship that's moving, can't always move with the wind because the destination is taking us in a different direction. So, think of that. The planets that are current and the vector that we must take. Bring it all together. With a little help from our friends, you will find that you are on course. In 2001, Dennis Tito becomes the first space tourist after paying $20 million to the Russian government to go aboard Soyuz TM-32. That's a Soyuz mission. And our birth is in 1900. It is Jan Hendrik Oort. He's a Dutch astronomer whose name is the Oort cloud. He hypothesized the existence of the Oort cloud. He's born in Franeker in Friesland, and he died in 1992. And that's all I have for you. Let's sum this up, shall we? Our color is the white spring wildflowers, and today's keyword is developing. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me through allergy season. I really appreciate it. I can barely see my script because my eyes are watering so bad. But I do appreciate you sticking by me. I do appreciate all the love that I've been getting lately. I love the comments. I love the shares. And I love I just love the love. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Today's a 7. Happy astrocatting.